Hey guys, I'm going to be making a new leaf for this guy. The old one was too far gone to salvage, so they wanted a new one. I think the original was 13 inches. This one I'll be doing 14. And I'll be veneering it with mahogany. You'll be seeing the whole process. So, alright, the leaf needs to be 42 inches long, but I don't want to cut the exact measurements yet, so I'll cut it about 43, 44, in that ballpark. It really doesn't matter. And it doesn't have to be rough, exact. Alright, I roughly got these guys to length. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to glue them together, and we're going to be biscuiting them. These are number 20 biscuits, and this is the DeWalt biscuit cutter. But before you glue them together, what you're going to want to do is look at your end grains. Alright, this will probably be better for you. You see how that's smiling at you? It's going like that. And this one is doing the same exact thing. You actually want to flip it so that way you got a smiley and a frowny. And if you were having another board over here, you're going to want to oscillate it. So if this one's a frowny, you're going to want this one as a smiley, and so on. But since we're only doing these two, it's going to be just like that. And now if we're doing it at 42 inches, you want to make sure you're not putting a biscuit where you're going to be cutting later. So I'm just going to measure 42 and 42. So I'm not going to want to put biscuits anywhere near those two lines. I'm going to want to mark it. 1, 2. Biscuit here. And biscuits, they do put a little bit more glue area in the joint, but to tell you the truth, the only really good that they do is help you line stuff up. Like normally, I would buy a rough cut, but I didn't realize I was out of poplar, so I had to run to Lowe's and grab some. And they always cut it like a 32nd below 3/4 of an inch, which might work out, but I would normally like plane this down to 7/8, glue it together, and then run it through the planer again, and that way I don't have to worry about sanding and all that. And I probably wouldn't be using biscuits then either. Just be a butt joint. So now that I have all of these marked, doing that so I know not to biscuit that. And to check for, you want it about center, just to do a quick check. Let's see. Yeah, that looks about center enough. That looks good, so we'll do that. Alright, when I was gluing up the leaf before, I didn't explain why you should rotate the frowny and the smiley of the grain. Because this is the smiley, that's the frowny. Now if I were to do both of them smiling, the board's going to naturally want to cup, because the grain is all going the same way, so it's going to want to cup. Rotating it like that actually helps prevent it from warping and crowning. And as you can see, I actually drew the grain on here a little bit better, so you could see it a little bit better. And that line is actually the glue joint. So yeah, I'll just throw this in right after I glue it up. Alright, about done. Alright, I got this guy cut down smaller, sanded the filler, got it pretty much dust free. We're ready to start putting the glue down. I'm just gonna wanna not drop the brush. Now these brushes, these are the cheap disposable ones. You're gonna wanna like hit it around, pull it, because some of these bristles will be loose. And you might see some in here that I'm gonna be yanking out. Want to do both surfaces, and then now you're going to want to let it sit for a bit. So I'll turn you back on when we're ready to veneer it. There's our leaf, table leaf. Now tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to add the bullets, which are the things that help line it up and keep it from sliding back and forth in the table. And we'll clean up the edges, cut her to size, and sand it, stain it, and finish it with the rest of the stuff tomorrow. So have a good night. See you tomorrow. Hello, back to the leaf again. So, glued down perfect, no bubbles, no nothing. Looks great. But I did notice that it needs to be smaller than this. I thought I had enough opening, but I don't. So I have to cut it down. And I just want to take the hand plane and get the last of that veneer. So that way I have a nice straight edge to follow. Perfect. Oh, that's just gonna come out. Okay. Alright, as I was saying before, this is a bit too wide for the space, so I have to cut it down. It's at 14.5 right now. I need it to be about 13. I might just make it just under 13 to help with the pins. So I'm putting the pins in on this. So I'm just going to skim one side to make sure it's parallel with the other side and nice and square, and then I'm just going to take the rest off on the other side. Okay, let's Alright, we're back over at the table, and this is what we're installing. Here, let me get behind the camera so I can make sure you see it. These are bullets for the table leaf, which is going to help line everything up, and that goes in. And, I forget the size drill bit. We'll figure that out. I have a bunch over there we could choose from. And so I'm put tape down so I could mark on the table. And these already have holes in it, and I believe we can make these work with the existing leaf bullet things. And now we're just marking where we need, and we'll be using this jig because it self-centers in the board, and you just line up your mark with the mark on the board, and it will drill right where you need it to drill. You'll see. So I'm gonna mark these. Just dealing my pencil. So I already marked this side, and I marked partial of this side, and now I want it in the center of the original. Just it a quick mark. Everything's still lined up. So let me finish marking this and I'll turn you back on when I'm ready to start drilling the holes. So I'm ready to start drilling my holes. So I have everything already marked out. Here, let's see if you can see. See my line? So I'm gonna line up those lines. 5/16 is the hole I want. So you just gotta make sure that you line up the right line with the, because if you line that up and drill you're drilling in the wrong spot. Or if you line that, yeah. Just gotta make sure you line it all up. Alright, let's see how well she fits. That side goes right in. The runners, the table runners are a little loose. But yeah, there we go. Fits pretty good. Now we just gotta cut it along those two lines quick. Here, let me get the saw out and stuff and I'll turn you back on. We'll see. Now, I traced the line with a straight edge of where I need to cut. And I'm actually gonna go on the line. Go down just a tad.